The Monk is more your vibe in Path of Exile 2. Do I have the Lightning Ice Monk build for you? This is my early game Monk build. We're going to go for the skill tree, the passives, skills, gems, all that fun stuff, as well as equipment. So let's jump straight in with our skill tree. And as you can see, we started with the evasion and energy side. And basically I went super defensive for the first few levels. We went up for the energy invasion, getting the +8, +5 to maximum energy shield. And then we went to the right. We wanted to increase that evasion and maximum energy shield, so we get 12% extra to both of them. Continuing north, another 12%, really boosting us up early game, making us super defensive. To get to step like Mist, a 4% increased movement speed, 15% increased mana regeneration rate, and +5 to dexterity and intelligence. Now from there, multiple branching paths, however we take the most northern one to get the evasion energy shield again, boosting our defenses, because early game you are very squishy. Boosting that defense, DPS is really good based on your items anyway, so this made the most sense to me logically. We went up to Mindful Awareness, 24 increased evasion rating and 24 increased maximum energy shield. We then close off the circle, coming back on ourselves, another 12% to evasion and maximum energy shield, to Flow Like Water. We get 8% increased cast speed and a +5 to dexterity and intelligence once again. Coming north for Shock Chance. Lightning abilities are one of the key things for this build, so 15% increased chance to shock is amazing. And that took us to Essence of the Storm. Getting 5% of the damage as extra lightning damage, 30% increased chance to shock. So in 2 nodes we have an extra 45% chance to shock, it's phenomenal. And then we had another 15% on top of that, so 60% extra within 3 levels. From there we came along to get dexterity +5. If you wanted to pick strength you could, based on what equipment you want to use, you could even do intelligence, but I wanted to boost my dex. Now from here we go north directly. We are going to follow this path eventually, but for the next few levels I went up for critical damage. So 15% increased critical damage, and then to begin with, following the left hand side path, 10% increased critical hit chance. On the right hand side, it's an increase to damage, however I feel like landing more crits early is better. From there we take Moment of Truth, 25% increased critical damage bonus if you've done a non-critical hit recently, and a 20% increased critical hit chance, and then we close out this little diamond with a 15% increased critical damage. Now come back to where we got the dexterity +5, we are going to come to the right this time for another dexterity +5, and then we're going to take the long path up to here, and this is where I took strength because I needed strength for some of the armor I'm wearing, and from there dexterity +5 again, following the skill tree. Now you might be wondering why we're doing this. It's because taking this build forward, my plan is to come along here. Attack damage increased by 10%, more attack damage increase. Down south to Killer Instinct, this is a 30% increased attack damage when on full life and 50% when on low life. We'll get another 10% as well if we have allies nearby. Not really that useful for the monk in my opinion. However, a 3% increased attack speed and 4% increased attack speed, 6% increased attack speed if you've been hit recently, and a +10 to strength for this attack sort of diamond hit. So the only one you really want to avoid in my opinion going forward is this node here, unless for some reason you want to come this way to take Immortal Thirst or Immortal Infantry. Maybe you want to come up this way for projectiles or physical damage and critical chance. There are a few options you have, however I think this node here, probably the last one you want to focus on. You could even venture up this way, take the physical damage, all that fun stuff. So let's go over our skills. Now the skills for this, I'm using Quarterstaff Strike obviously as my main attack, and I have sockets on here. I have put Overpower, so hits with supported skills cause 50% more stun build up. Stunning enemies with the monk is a great way to just nullify fights, especially bosses. It's so helpful against bosses. As well as Martial Tempo. Support skills have 25% more attack speed. More attacks, more damage, makes total sense. Now after that, probably my favourite ability to use in this class is Falling Thunder. This is a huge electric based attack, cone length of 4 meters, so it hits a wide variety of enemies, and 60% of physical damage to lightning damage. Now for this I've put sockets on. I have Lightning Infusion, so we gain 25% extra lightning damage, but 50% less cold and fire damage. For this skill, not important at all. 25% extra damage as lightning is perfect. As well as Innovate. Gain attacks gain 35% of damage as lightning damage for 3 seconds on killing a shocked enemy with supported skill. Again, a nice way of just boosting your DPS. The next ability we're using is another one of my favourites, and it's Glacial Cascade. Converts 60% of physical damage to cold damage. It's got a 4.8 meter thing, so it's almost like a ranged ability for a monk. It's amazing. And for sockets, we have Cold Infusion, so much like our Lightning Infusion, 25% extra cold damage, 50% less fire and lightning. And Concentrated Effect. Support skills deal 40% more area damage, support skills have 50% less area of effect. More damage, less area, I think is worth it. Contagion, now this might be a bit of a weird one, but I use Contagion loads in this build, and it spreads like wildfire, especially if you put Contagion down and then start hitting these. Like a Contagion, 2 of these, and you spread that between mobs like crazy. Now it is only 4.3 base chaos damage, but if that spreads to enemies at the back that can't get you, they're taking damage to not even be able to reach you yet, and it's just phenomenal. For sockets, I have got Magnified Effect. So, support skills have 40% more area effect, tying into what I just said. My next ability, Tempest Bell. This is awesome. You basically throw a bell on the ground and then you can smack it. And it does area of effect abilities. So it will just damage enemies that go near it, kind of like the totem for the warrior. And what's really cool about this is you can put other abilities on it. So for example, you can hit it with a lightning spell and it become electrified, and then you smack it and it deals electric damage. It's really, really cool. My next ability, Ghost Dance. I think this is awesome. It's so helpful. When hit, consume a Ghost Shroud to recover an energy shield equal to 5% of your evasion. Vaulting Impact. Again, this is just a non-lightning version of Falling Thunder, but it is very helpful. And Tempest Flurry. Again, converts 6% of physical damage to lightning damage, plus 4 to melee strike range, and it's basically just like a big old quick attack with your staff that does lightning damage, followed by a lightning bolt at the end, and it is awesome. Okay, when it comes to items, the 4 key things I focused on for this build was physical damage, it was lightning damage, like life regen or siphoning from enemies when you kill them, and dexterity, as well as energy shield. So, again, boosted dexterity, boosted physical or lightning damage, boosted armor, energy shield, anything like super defensive, and then life regen or like siphoning life from enemies when you kill one. Those are the 4 key things to focus on. So for example, with the staff I'm using, I have put a rune on this, which gives me a slightly better attack. See, 20% increased physical damage, but overall the staff itself, 60% increased physical damage, adds 1 to 10 lightning damage, 45% increased elemental damage with attacks, gain 7 life per enemy killed, gain 4 mana per enemy killed. Overall, this is a perfect staff for this build. It ties everything in together nicely. For my first ring, now it does have 20% cold resistance, wasn't ideal, but looking at the rest of it, it had a 6% increase to lightning damage, 46 accuracy rating, plus 12 to max mana, but 3 life regen per second. For armor, I went for something that 22% increased armor. It had 88 armor overall, but plus 9 stun threshold, plus 10 fire resistance, plus 12 maximum life. Again, just focusing on being defensive because our DPS is good. For a headband, again, focus on energy shield. Energy shield 31, but plus 12 to maximum energy shield, and then plus 10 to intelligence. 2.3 life regeneration per second, and then all the others was just an added benefit. Again, for the amulet, plus 14 to dexterity, 11% increased armor, 2.7 life regen per second. This was the perfect amulet to fit the 4 concepts of what I wanted for this build. For the next ring, adds 1 to 4 physical damage to attacks, plus 7 strength, plus 10 lightning resistance, 32 to accuracy rating. For shoes, again armor and energy shield, but more importantly, plus 19 to maximum life, plus 5 strength, 3.2 life regeneration per second. For a belt, 33 to armor, 27 to maximum life, and 3.5 life regeneration per second. Again, a perfect belt for this build as well. For gloves, energy shield and evasion, but adds 1 to 4 fire damage to attacks, 14 accuracy rating, plus 14 to maximum life, plus 1 level to all melee strikes. Again, another perfect item for this. Okay, we're in Ogden Manor. This is the end of Act 1, and let's see how we fare. And you can see the attacks we're doing here. And let's get our big lightning ability. just like that. Now if we want to do our ice one, you'll see it's got great range, so we can actually hit both of them like this. And we can sort of just stand in a pocket here, and our stun builds up really quick. Now I'm trying to get a big group together, let's do these. And we've landed the contagion, and you're going to see it start to spread. Although we're actually just keeping them out, right, so that's pretty cool. We're also able to stand in the blood pockets, obviously it's not ideal. Here you go, we'll do contagion on this dude, and we'll get it spreading. Not. I am determined to show you contagion, guys. Let's go this way. Okay, let's get that there. Oh, it's a big boss, okay. Well, in that case, we're going to roll out the way, because we are getting really slow. And let's get some of our other attacks going. So, there is our contagion. And there you go, you can see it starting to spread now. And then that leaves me in a situation I can keep doing that. Now, to close distance, let's say, again, you've got people here within range. We can come in there. And now we can literally just stand in the pocket. We can build that stun up against these harder enemies. And we can just keep swinging. And we can hit our lightning damage. We can do our other lightning ability, the lightning bolt, just like that. And it's just a really nice, easy build to kill a bunch of enemies. And even on the big dudes, with like this, we can just land a few of these. And with 4 hits, they have perished. So it's a really good area of effect ability for the monk, as you can see here. Lots of abilities to hold enemies back, but we can also just get in the pocket. And we have really good at energy shield, and our life regen is on point. And you see we can take out these small enemies within a few hits. We're even standing within the blood puddle. And you'll see how quickly our life goes back up as soon as we're done. So between mob to mob, you can easily regen your whole life pool, really making it easier to save your flasks. So I really hope you have enjoyed this build. If you have, please drop it a like. Let me know what other abilities or skills, all that fun stuff you would focus on. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I've got more Path of Exile builds, I've got more Baldur's Gate builds, I've got more Dragon Age builds coming. If you want to support the channel, you can do by becoming a member today by pressing the join button just below this video for less than a cup of coffee a month, and it helps me tremendously. Regardless, I hope you have enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.